Hi everyone, welcome to Project Pluto, and this is On the Sofa with Steve. So we're going to chat about Brian and Marguerite's job and how we got it all together. So there's a few comments and questions that I have received that I'm going to tackle as we get going. And the first thing I'm going to say is no, I'm not going to give you the budget. It's a bit like asking a woman's age. It's no one's business other than my clients, but it was perfectly within you know, an average person's grasp. It wasn't enormous as we say, but it was very tight, and we managed to get as much as we possibly could out of it. And I think we've done a really good job. One of the comments I get quite a lot of is, I don't want Stephen to come to my house because I don't want him to judge me, and I also don't want him to throw any of my furniture away. Well, I get that all the time because people think I'm just going to walk in and throw everything away. But if we have a look at the Project Pluto, there isn't one piece of furniture that I threw away in the whole house. So if we go back, and I will show you bits and pieces as we chat along. In the living room, now don't forget I did Marguerite's home before she married Brian. I did it about 10 years ago. And in all of that furniture I did for her then, she still had it, and I still used the same furniture. I just reinvented it slightly. So if you remember, in the living room there was two ornate armchairs, two solid armchairs, and one sofa. What I did was that sofa is the sofa I made for her first house, and I just remade a new sofa to match that one, and I reupholstered them. So we kept the old one, we made a new one. The two ornate armchairs were both reupholstered, and the two solid armchairs we reupholstered and put them outside. So the only thing I actually bought in the living room was the glass coffee table, because the original coffee table she had was too big, and I put that outside. So we haven't thrown anything away. Because there was no dining room table, I created a dining room. So yes, she did have a dining room table in her old house, but it was round and it didn't fit into the new home. So that's in the garage at the moment, and that's going to be sold with its dining chairs. So if we go back to that room that we repositioned, we didn't throw anything away. We only added in one sofa and a dining room table. Yeah. The lamp that is in the lounge was an old one that was in the garage that was silver, and I sprayed it black. All the artwork I kept. There was three pieces of artwork I didn't put on the wall, and that was through conversation with both of them, working out which were their favorite pieces, which they weren't particularly worried about. And once I put everything up on the walls that we loved, those three pieces that no, we weren't particularly worried about, maybe because I didn't put too much focus on there, I actually worked out of the room, and I didn't really need in the space. I had them there and I could have put them up, but it would have probably cluttered it a bit more. If we go into the guest bedroom, the headboard was there before. I just reupholstered that. The Marguerite's prayer chair is a new chair, but that was an add-on that was halfway through the project. But otherwise, everything else in that room, the little rimpy benches next to the bed, the side tables, the lamps, the school desk, and the little side table neck, and the basket and that, and the artwork and everything, and the mirrors, was all there in the house. I didn't buy anything from there. Brian's office, his desk was there. His grandmother's chest with the goldfish tank on was his. We did nothing in his to replace anything. In the main bedroom, there wasn't a headboard, so I made a headboard. That's that long gold one. The Sophia Shays which now sits at the end of their bed, was in the guest bedroom, if you will remember. And that I just cut the arms off it and lowered it slightly with the arms and put that at the end of the bed. But it's exactly the same shade, so we reupholstered that. The blue chest of drawers, remember, was theirs, and I physically painted that one myself and reinvented it. The little table under the TV in their bedroom was theirs as well. So nothing really. Oh, the two bedside tables I did purchase because she did have mirrored side tables, but they were cracked. So we put those into the garage for storage. In the garage, they can open the drawers and use them. Then in her office, Marguerite's office, she didn't have a desk in the house, so we bought her a desk. But if you will remember, in the before photos, and I will show them you again afterwards, there was a very long bank of cupboards and drawers, which I just split in half and stuck them on top of each other in her office. So that was reinventing what she already had there. The two units that are behind her door in her office was actually a unit I built in her old house with a single bed in between. So there was two long wall units that you'll see. I'll show you a photograph of now. If you split those apart and imagine me putting a bed in between, that's how we'd made it for her old house. And then we'd put a piece at the top. So it was almost like a big U shape that fitted the bed, and inside that bed was a headboard. And if you look back in the beginning photos, I will show them to you, don't worry. In Brian's old office, there was a single bed with a headboard against the wall that we've removed out of his office. That bed actually fitted in that surround of bookcases that was in the old house. So what I did was we took those two bookcases, put them together, and then put them in her office because she wanted a lot of space for her books. So on the outside, there was that horrible green check sofa that we recovered, and I just built a new one to match it. The coffee table was from inside, and those two blue armchairs are the ones that were inside already. So nothing was bought really for that space except for the one sofa. So when people say to me, I'm terrified he's going to throw all my stuff away, I actually threw nothing away. So we used absolutely every piece of furniture that was there. And in the garage, there were a whole lot of armchairs that I've used and managed to stick them in offices and that. So, and stuff that they hadn't used for ages as well. I managed to whip out and find a space for them. So it's a load of rubbish when people say I'm going to walk in there and take things out. I am not one of those decorators, and I think you've kind of gathered through the process of Project Pluto that I'm very much one of those that I really want your home to be a reflection of you and not me. I'm not one of those designers that walks in and throws everything out and says, let's start from scratch. It must look like this, must look like that. Because it's expensive to live these days. And I've always believed that we all have 99% of what we actually need in our homes. Most of the time, it's either just not positioned very well or just needs a little bit of tender loving care and a bit of a makeover. And unless you really want to change things, I think most people can get by with what they have. I mean, if you look at what I've done with Marguerite and Brian's place, they had everything. I just restructured it and gave it a new look. And half the time, you don't even recognize that it was in the original house in the first place. So that should answer that question. Um, People say a lot that, oh, you look expensive. Well, I don't want to look cheap, but it's all relative, I suppose. I generally I work on whatever the budget is. If people don't know what their budget is, I will cost the dream. That's what I'd always do right in the very beginning. We have a discussion. We walk through what your hopes and dreams are for the house. And a lot of people say, well, I've kind of got this amount of money, but I'm not really sure, or they have no concept of what things are going to cost anyway. So what I do is I say, right, let's just cost the dream, and we'll see what that comes to. And I'm always very mindful of things because I always expect, I always try and imagine if I had to pay for things, what I would be willing to spend money on. And obviously, everyone's approach to this is completely different. But I also know how I can make something that looks relatively cheap in fabric or items, make it look more expensive than it is. So if you look at Marguerite and Brian's place, I think it looks amazing. But nothing in there was particularly expensive. The most expensive item that we did in the whole house, apart from the builder's cost, was the gazebo outside. And that really wasn't manufacturing cost, it was the cost of the wood that actually made up the bulk of the price. But that was the most expensive item in the whole house, really. And I wasn't hell bent on having it, but I was. I mean, Marguerite and Brian were like, maybe we could, and then they knew not to try and argue because I knew I would have taken the budget from somewhere else to make sure that the gazebo went in, because I really think that was a clever spot for the end of the pool, and I think it transforms the house. So, am I expensive? No, I'm not expensive. I do have different packages of how I charge people. So it goes from, one, two, three, four, five, six, whatever packages they are, and it tells you how involved I could get into the project. So it all depends on how involved you want me to get, and obviously the more involved I get, the more the price rises. But it's very self-explanatory. It's very easy. So if you want to know, I can always send you stuff.